Good evening. I'm Patricia Malone with a CTV News update. A march and rally is set for tonight in Laurel. Tenants and community members are demanding legislation from city leaders that calls for rent stabilization. Organizers say rents at this complex, Laurel 24, where the march is scheduled to start, have spiked as much as $800. The march starts at Laurel 24, located at 332 11th Street, and winds up at the Laurel Municipal Center for the rally.
And the reason we're holding this march and rally more than anything is because we want to send a loud message to the council leadership in Laurel. We want to send a message to Mayor Craig Moe, to the council president, Brenton Smith, that, it's time for them to move on legislation. The community members have been at the Laurel municipality for months, where they have been expressing their concerns, and they're frustrated. It's been months of advocacy. They've been speaking to them directly. They've been sharing their stories at the meetings, and they have yet to move on this.
And that rally gets underway at 4:50 p.m. Well, more than a dozen county residents are without a home just days before Christmas. Fire crews were called to an apartment complex at the 10,000 block of Prince Place in Largo early this morning. When firefighters arrived, they found flames coming from the bottom floor of the building. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Officials say about 15 residents have been displaced. No word yet on what caused the fire. A shooting at a Prince George's nightclub leaves one man dead and another injured. It happened early this morning, just before 2:30 at the Hangar Club on Old Branch Avenue in Temple Hills. Police were called to the area on the report of shots fired outside of the club. One man was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Another is listed in stable condition. So far, there have been no arrests. Anyone who has information is asked to contact police. Embattled Prince George's School Board Chair Juanita Miller got a chance to defend herself today. Miller testified before the Maryland Administrative Office of Hearings this afternoon against charges of misconduct in office, willful neglect of duty, and incompetence. During the virtual hearing, she testified that within days of taking over as chair, then board member Rahila Ahmed sent her an email suggesting Miller's attempt to slow down a reorganization process was a potential ethics violation. The chair also had issues with how a meeting was conducted to hire interim counsel. Miller's testimony is expected to conclude this afternoon, which is also the last day of her hearing. It's the first day of winter, and the new season will soon bring frigid conditions. The National Weather Service says we'll have a rainy day tomorrow. On Friday, a wintry mix is expected with possible icy road conditions. Friday night and Saturday night, we could experience dangerously cold temperatures and wind chills with lows near 11 degrees. The sun will return Saturday, but forecasters predict high temperatures near a frigid 22 degrees. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Malone. Still to come, we continue our conversation with retiring Prince George's Judge Sheila Tillerson Adams. Stay with us.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, we continue our discussion tonight with retiring Chief Administrative Judge Sheila Tillerson Adams. The Washington, D.C. native began her law career in District Court of Prince George's in 1993. In 1996, she was elevated to circuit court for Prince George's County, and as chief judge, she is responsible for all aspects of the court's functions. Tonight, she says one of the things she's most proud of is her work with domestic violence victims while she was with the state's attorney's office.
At that time, when I came to this jurisdiction, prosecution of women of domestic violence was called Punching Judy Day. I was incensed, and it wasn't taken seriously. And I went to Bud Marshall, and he was a maverick. He was a new age state's attorney, and even though he was a strict prosecutor, he would listen. And he basically said, well, if you want to do something about it, change it. He took me out of the trial assignment for a while and let me set up the domestic violence unit, and we set up the domestic violence unit in the state's attorney's office here in Prince George's County. And we started prosecuting and treating those cases with more dignity. And the name Punching Judy Day no longer existed.
And Tillerson Adams is set to retire at the end of the month. We'll hear much more of our interview tomorrow. A Prince George's ambulance crew stops to help a driver stuck in a car that was engulfed in flames. According to officials, the ambulance crew was on Route 50 near I-97, heading to a hospital in Anne Arundel County yesterday afternoon. On the way, they spotted a multi-car crash. One of those vehicles had caught on fire. With the assistance of an Anne Arundel police officer, the crew rescued the person trapped inside. Well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers that they continue to show an increase in the positivity rate and hospitalizations. Now, the State Department of Health has confirmed more than 1,600 new cases. The county's positivity rate is 15.1%. 9 Marylanders have died of COVID over the last 24 hours. 708 people are hospitalized with the disease. County police are investigating 3 carjackings that occurred on the same day earlier this week. The first carjacking happened here at the 3300 block of Dodge Park Road in Landover about 6:20 p.m. on Monday. The next occurred just over a little more than 2 hours later at the 6500 block of Annapolis Road in Landover Hills. And the last carjacking occurred Monday night in the 2100 block of Brooks Drive in District Heights. Police say they have not determined whether these crimes are related. Governor-elect Wes Moore says bringing the FBI to Prince George's is a personal priority of his. Moore's comments come on the heels of Maryland Democratic leaders securing language regarding the Bureau's new headquarters into a federal spending package. They say they're trying to push for a more fair and transparent process for the site selection. In September, the General Services Administration released new criteria for the building that seem to favor Virginia over 2 possible sites in Prince George's County. A veteran Prince George's lawmaker is nominated to be part of Governor-elect Wes Moore's team. Moore has appointed Senator Paul Pinsky as director of the Maryland Energy Administration. Pinsky has served 29 years in the Maryland Senate, where he chaired the Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee. During that time, he was a key architect of the blueprint for Maryland's future. Pinsky was also lead sponsor of numerous environmental bills, including the Climate Solutions Now Act, the Healthy Air Act, and the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Act. And we will be back with much more in a moment. Stay tuned.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug. You know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for ya. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
Welcome back. Well, environmental groups are celebrating after a federal court invalidates the 50-year license for Maryland's Conowingo Dam. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission issued the license last year. By voiding it, a court of appeals is sending it back to the agency for further review. The dam has become a flashpoint about Chesapeake Bay restoration and reduction of nutrient pollution into the estuary by 2025. A Baltimore Ravens player wants Marylanders to know that there's help out there if you're struggling with your mental health. Now, Baltimore Ravens wide receiver James Prochet II has joined forces with the Maryland Department of Health. The agency and Prochet have launched a new campaign to spread awareness about the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline number 988. The campaign will run on TV, radio, and digital platforms. It's important to note that if you or someone you know is dealing with thoughts of suicide, depression, or have problems with drugs and alcohol, you can text or call the number 988 for help. Well, in sports news, Wizards fans can finally breathe again. Your team won last night, breaking a 10-game losing streak. The Wizards were on the court against the Suns in Phoenix, and as usual, Kyle Kuzma led the way for the Washington squad. Kuzma scored 29 points and Bradley Beal had 27. Washington was up by 17 points in the third quarter, but held off a late Phoenix rally to win 113-110. And the Wizards face off against the Utah Jazz tomorrow night. It's now time for your pet of the week. Meet Rocco. He's a 7-year-old Presa Canario with a very sweet and loving heart. He is currently being fostered at a home with 7 children, and he gets along with them all. Now, Rocco's foster dad says he's very quiet, low maintenance, and protective when he needs to be. Rocco is also house trained, so if you feel this big guy would fit in with your family, please call the number on your screen. And turning to our weather forecast once again, tonight mostly cloudy with lows around 30 degrees. Thursday, a rainy day with high temperatures near 49. And Friday, expect that wintry mix with highs again in the 40s. Saturday, it'll bring frigid conditions. It'll be sunny, but high temperatures will hover around 22 degrees and may feel much colder. That is your CTV News for now. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.
I'll see y'all.
Got some batteries and 2 flashlights.
What's up, champ?
Alright, it's cool.
I feel like you get taller every time I see you.